What is up, world? You are in tune to the Know It All podcast with your usual suspects. You got your man Big G. Big G, what's popping, man? How you do?
What's cracking, man? Just got a good weekend where I saw in my opinion, some of the best college basketball games I've seen in a long time.
In a
So there
long
was
time.
some great games today, man. So ready to
Yeah,
wrap it up and let's talk about it.
yeah, man. I'm a little salty, but I'm gonna say, you play the game. There's a winner, there's a loser. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, and salute to my Longhorns, man. We out of here on the Elite Eight, but hey, Rodney Terry, that's his job.
Oh
Terry,
yeah,
do your job. Sign Rodney Terry. Period.
Oh, yeah.
Point blank. Tay, how you doing, bro?
What's up, Mod? I'm good, man. I kind of agree with Big G, man. With some good college basketball played the past Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, man. I see Afton in the live chat. I was rooting for Kansas State too, and they kind of gave it away the last couple minutes. And B Dirt here already with his ridiculous takes. We texting earlier. Big B Dirt said that the game between who was the first game? Wasn't a good game.
Creighton and San Diego
Creighton
State.
and San Diego, that wasn't a good game. Just because he like watching all offense. Sometimes you gotta just bring that, get it out the mud and bring that D sometimes, man.
Yeah. It was an outstanding game.
And that's one of the things that I'm talking about, and we're gonna go ahead and get into it because there's a lot to talk about. But first and foremost, we want to thank you guys for rocking with us. Thank you for rocking with us. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch so that when we go live, you'll definitely be there to get those notifications. Man, we're going to get into this show. We got a lot to talk about. It's a lot of basketball, a lot of football. Definitely got a lot of sports to talk about, man. Baseball even starting next week. But before we get into that, man, let's get into this. And once again, you are here on the Know It All podcast, man. And look, so I thought the games, let's say this. And when we start talking about NCAA Final Four, it's supposed to be a wild ride. It just is. You know what I'm saying? Anything that could happen, should happen, and will happen. The tournament is not a one of those, one size fits all. If you were real good in the regular season, you're gonna be there. The only team to me that got me, like, there's three teams. There's the Duke team with Bobby Hurley and Grant Hill and them. There's the UNLV team with Grandmama, Stacey Augmon, Anderson Hunt, all those guys. And then there's the Fab Five. These guys said they was going to be there at the end and were there at the end twice. That is so hard to do. You know what I'm saying?
Don't forget the 94 Arkansas Razorbacks. Corliss Williamson them said they was going to win that bad baby.
But
they did exactly what they said.
I'm talking about teams that went back to back to the Final Four.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. That is just so hard to do. Just one saying, I'm going to go and you go, yeah, okay, you make it. But making it 2 years back to back is something else because everything has to go right. Everything has to go right. So, but one of the things, I'm just going to start it out. I'm very transparent, so I'm going to give it to you the way that I get it. The San Diego State Creighton game, bad call at the very end. Bad call, right call, bad call, very end. Horrible. I mean, they said time ran out and so that the foul didn't count. This is what I'm saying. I was talking to my youngster about this. My youngster's a basketball coach. And he was saying, there's certain calls in basketball that don't need to be called. I get it. There's a human element to being a referee. We forget that referees are human, right? And you don't want a robot out there calling everything by the letter because sometimes things may be that ain't. But I just feel like there should be, and I mean, we could talk about this in the pros too, because there's been some bad calls in the pros. I just feel like as a referee, y'all are getting paid a lot of money to be out there doing what you do. I feel like if you make a bad call, you should be docked on that. Or if you should be scored as a referee. And being scored as a referee, if you get a bad report as a referee, you should be fined. I think you should be fined. What do you guys think about that, man?
Well, they do that in the NBA, just FYI. And last I checked, they do that for the NCAA tournament. Their grading system is based on their regular season scorecards. And a matter of fact, I know for a fact they do it even in Ohio in high school. You can't even you can't ref in the tournament.
But do you get paid as a result of that? Like, do they dock you for making bad calls?
Well, I know that in the NBA, that if you get too many bad calls, it affects your pocketbook tremendously because you don't have the opportunity to coach in the higher playoff games. Because every time they go up a round, you get paid a different set of money. So there's an NBA referee that half the players in the league can't stand. His name's Scott Foster. A lot of the guys can't stand Scott Foster because they said Scott gives bad calls and crucial moments to big-time players. And they also said he has bias towards certain players in the league, like Chris Paul, like Devin Booker, like Kevin Durant, A, B, C, and D. However, I think that it's just part of the game. There's certain points that where both sides get bad calls. I just don't like it when it's all lopsided. It's been a long time, at least here in Ohio, since I've seen basketball games where they would just flat out cheat for one team, where you got 22 fouls for one team and 9 for another team. That's just ridiculous, but I think it's part of the human element of basketball. And even more so, it's what makes college basketball as great as it is. So, that's why I'm like, I don't know if it's bad calls, but I think it's part of the human game. And it's all based on perception. That's just my take on what I see as far as happening, especially in college basketball this year.
Perception's reality, Afton. I mean, the fact that Scott Foster still has a job is miraculous. I don't understand it because it's obvious. Chris Paul is not the only one. James Harden, he's another one who, Scott Foster just does not like. And he will sway the calls against James Harden. I don't know. Like I said, there's no real way to fix it, to say, unless you just create some robots to get out there and call the game. There's no real way to fix it. Referees are humans too. Referees have feelings too. Referees have, opinions too. So it's like one of those things, you got to take it. One team's going to win, one team's going to lose. Tate, what's your opinion on this whole thing?
Well, first of all, man, I want to ask Big G real quick. Big G, is Captain America a real superhero?
Absolutely, he's a real superhero.
I just want clarity on that.
Yeah.
Or Pay come chiming in sometime or not. Like, I don't know what he thinks.
Yeah.
But anyway, the last call of the Creighton San Diego State game, what are you talking about? It was a bad call.
So, okay, it was right after the out of bounds play where he threw it over and the guy made the shot, tied the basketball game. At the very end, there was a so he said his foot was on the line. He fouled him. He had fouled it, called a foul. Foot was on the line, but the time had expired. They went through everything, and they said the time had expired, so none of that other stuff mattered. Him being on the line, the foul call, none of that was gone.
The fact that he's on the line, you talking about the inbound passer.
Right. At the end
fact
of the
that he was on the line, that if they called that would have brought it back to the other baseline and would have been San Diego State's ball.
Understood.
With 2 left.
Yeah, what I'm saying, what I'm saying, it was right call. I said it was right call, right? Right call. But some things don't need to be called in basketball. My son was arguing that didn't need to be. I was like, some things just need to be called. And it's the same thing that I could say, I'm ecstatic about the fact that, Texas made it to the Elite Eight, upset that we lost, right? But at the same time, I think to me there was a whole bunch of questionable calls. And I feel like, and then the other night, I forget who that was. It was a questionable call in the NBA, and it was really bad call. I'm just saying, referees definitely need to be checked.
Allow me to say, I think referees do the best they can. Like you said, they are human. I mean, balls and strikes are argued all the time in baseball. I mean, you got instant replay in football now, and sometimes that still don't get it right. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, you try and get as right as you can. And in basketball, you have these calls. I don't know if college basketball, do you get a challenge? I don't think I've seen one, so I don't know if that's in the rule book.
Anything under 2 minutes can be challenged or reviewed.
Challenged and reviewed. Yeah.
Okay, so I think the referees, man, just like I said, they do the best they can, and it intensifies and ratchets up for fans, for players, for the coaching staff in the last 2 minutes of every close game, no matter what the sport.
Yeah, agree.
It ratchets up.
Yeah.
You look more intensely. If a call on your team don't go your way, you feel like, I don't like that call. And it's not anything you're doing intentionally. It's subconsciously. It's internally. Like it's like Big G said. You know, I mean, we all have our teams and we all have our disparities and discrepancies with some of these calls, man. But at the end of the day, these refs are doing the best they can, with the exception of the NBA guy y'all was talking about.
Yeah. Well, that's because everybody has this. And it's not personal, you know, it's everybody has bias. You know, you can't miss a particular or feel a certain kind of way. You can't even be a sports fan if you don't have internal bias. So your bias makes you want to say, maybe a question. Has there been calls across the board with sports, college football, basketball, professional baseball? Yeah, absolutely. But most of the time we lean towards our bias. That's why I think most of us, for the best part, we try to do our best to not be so biased about one particular way or one particular thing. And as far as our panel is concerned, we got our favorite teams. I mean, don't get it wrong. Mod circles the state of Texas. So, you know, me and Tate roll with them Buckeye boys and the Steelers. But overall, when you can't let the bias that you have for a particular call or particular game overinflect the fact that they're human and they're going to make certain calls certain ways. I love the fact that if you start out one way calling the game, you call it all the way through. In football, if you get PI the whole game and they letting them tug and pull, don't get down to the end and call the game where it's a call that sets the game off.
So what you're saying is consistency.
Yeah, in basketball,
I agree. If you set the tone in a ball game and you're letting them play, keep it that same way. Keep that same.
But hey, in respect to the referees, I mean, players have to be a little bit aware of time and game circumstance.
Yes.
Like that call against the San Diego State player against the Creighton player, the last shot, probably would have been called with 12 minutes left in the second half.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? But the defender for Creighton has to realize it's the last minute. I can't foul. I can't even get the perception of what looks like a foul.
Correct.
Looks like a foul. Yep.
Correct.
Yes, you mean the players have some responsibility in this also is what I'm saying.
Right.
I agree. I totally wholeheartedly
and
agree.
Tate, your point about the tighter the game, the bigger the microscope. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's 100% legit.
And that's what that call was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it really wasn't a egregious foul, but he had, you know, it wasn't even a swipe at the ball up top. It was the hand on the body that kind of nudged a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely, you guys. But back to the tournament, man. What is the biggest surprise? Who is the biggest surprise? Who do you think, to you guys, like after we know the Final Four now, who's the one where you can say, I never saw that one?
Man, it got to be Florida Atlantic, man. And shout out to my niece down in Florida, Jasmine. She went to school at Florida Atlantic, and I don't even know that she even probably watched any of the games. She's not a sports fan, but she went there. And if she's heard about them making the Final Four or was watching, she's got to be ecstatic. And that has to be 3 teams in the Final Four for their first time.
Exactly. No, I think it's all 4.
No,
I don't think Miami, San Diego State,
Florida Atlantic,
or no, UConn.
UConn's been there. UConn got chips, bro.
3 out of the 4. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I say Florida Atlantic, and they got a good team. And because I think the smaller the school you go to, I think the transfer portal helps you, and you get more upperclassmen.
Yes,
they got a lot of upperclassmen.
Yeah, well, guys dogpile on one squad to try to get a victory, man. I'm feeling it. Mod, to answer your question too, in a ride with Tate, I think that, I said at the beginning of the thing, I'm not doing no bracket because there's no telling who can win what and how. So it was hard for me to pick. We identified certain things that guard play be really that thing. So guard play was outstanding. But to say a surprise, 3 of the final 4, like Tate said, UConn got chips, man. But the rest of these guys, there's no way in God's green earth I picked any of them at the beginning of the tournament to say this one or that one could be there. No, but big time players make big time plays in big time games. And that's exactly what's to happen with this 3 of these final 4.
Hey, Big G in the live chat, Tim Lyons. Shout out to Tim. What's up, homie?
What'd he say?
He asked you, is MJ a superhero?
Michael Jordan? No. No. Michael Jordan is not a superhero. Michael Jordan is an outstanding basketball player, Tim, but he's not a superhero. No, he can't even get in a boat with Batman. And Batman has no powers, but he's still a superhero.
Funny thing, G, Sports Fluent, a friend of the show, was on with Shaq, and they were talking to him, and Chi-Town were talking to Shaq about Kobe, and they were saying, first, because Marbury had said that Stephon Marbury said there's really no need to even have a discussion with Bron and Michael. You should be talking about Bron and Kobe. And Sports Fluent asked Shaq who's his top 5, and he flipped it and asked him, who's your top 5? And Chi-Town jumped in and said he made the comment where Bron was second, and he had Kobe like outside of the 5. And Shaq was like, who did Kobe play like? And he was like, MJ. And he's like, so if MJ's perfection, who's the closest that you see to perfection? He's like, Kobe. So he's like, how in the world is Kobe outside of the 5? So Shaq made a good point.
Good argument.
I haven't played against Michael and played with Kobe. He's saying, a lot of times we leave Kobe out of the discussion. And, definitely when I think about the Mamba and I think about his work ethic and I think Kobe's top 5, Kobayas' top 5, you can't leave him out of that 5.
Who you going to take out? You can't take out Kareem. You can't take out Larry Bird. You can't take out Magic Johnson. You can't take out LeBron James. And you can't take out Michael Jordan. So the issue or the question should be, who you taking out? Because you ain't taking out none of those 5. Those 5 are in Kareem, Magic, LeBron, Larry Bird,
those guys,
Michael Jordan.
All those guys are multiple league MVP winners too. Might I add.
And how many did Kobayas win?
I think maybe 1.
Yeah, I think Kobe got 1.
Yeah, maybe
he only got 1.
Yeah,
one league MVP.
And I don't know, man. I don't know. Kobe
he definitely coming around 8 or 9 on my list.
Kobe's one of them that's there. You know what I'm saying?
I got him a 6. That's just my own personal.
It could be 6 if I sat down and thought about it. I'm just going off the top of my head. I said 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Top 10 for sure, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
without a doubt.
You said who Tate said that his team, that he's already spoke about his team, that he was surprised that made it. Who was your surprise that made it? You said it was just,
those 3 out of the 4. Yeah. Not in a million years. But like I said, I think that those teams, those 3 out of those 4 teams, I wouldn't be shocked if Utah win it, but I wouldn't be shocked if 3 out of those 4. They're all gritty and grimy teams, man.
You must mean UConn, not Utah.
UConn.
UConn.
No, I think UConn is going to win it.
But if they don't, it wouldn't shock me because
I like San Diego State, man, the way they play.
The guard play.
But UConn is big, and they got guard play right now.
It's the guard play.
Thing. You said something really earlier, G, and I want to get back on this. You guys who are watching, one of the things that we've said before is that the transfer portal is changing life as we know it for college athletics, right? Mm-hmm. You could be sorry today, but once you go in that transfer portal and you get the things that you need for your offense, and you back up again. So talk to me, man. Like, as far as this NCAA tournament and how it's been played, how much have you saw the transfer portal impacted, and what would be your thoughts on the transfer portal moving forward? I got a question for you too, G. Mm-hmm.
It's impacted everywhere throughout the tournament, man. I look at the Kansas State team, who I was real high on, man. They had a few transfer portal guys. The kid Johnson transferred from Florida. He was probably their top player, maybe not in the tournament, but during the regular season. I mean, you got your boys Texas, the boy Rice and Allen, they both transferred in. I mean, if you look at these Final Four teams, Florida Atlantic,
the Sioux transferred in from Vanderbilt, but he was hurt. He didn't play this game.
Okay, but yeah, so I mean, right there, just on two of the Final Four teams, we're seeing the impact and the footprint of the transfer portal with these teams.
Yeah, definitely. Big G. So being that the transfer portal is the way that it is, right? Mm-hmm. And we see that. How is that affecting the incoming seniors, high school seniors? Because if you're not in the top 50, right, mm-hmm. the bigger schools, the schools that everybody want to go to, all those scholarships are taken. Mm-hmm. So how do you see this affecting and impacting college basketball as a whole when you got the top 100 basketball players can go, mm-hmm. right? You know what I'm saying? So now you got those kids going to other conferences. How do you feel about that? Like, how do you see this playing out for the next 10 years?
Well, the personification of what you're seeing is Bangkok, the kid at North Carolina. If you had to summarize how this portal, guys staying longer in college, switching schools, being able to have money to stabilize them on that level and live the lifestyle that they sort of want to live like NBA and NFL players, he's the personification of it. But I really do believe that how we saw that trend for a bunch of years where it was one and done, you're going to get that because kids are going to want to jump to the G League and the NBA. But the big thing you're going to see is kids staying in school longer because the money now makes sense. If I know I'm not a first-round NBA draft pick and I know I can go a second round or I possibly got to walk onto a team and make the team or come through the G League, why would I not stay in college where I'm having the best time of my life? I'm playing with guys that I count as friends and eventually going to count as family and make money. Now, it's not NBA money, but if I think back to my college years. If I could have been paid over the table $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 and in college, I've been trying to stay there for 9 years. I'd have been a super duper senior. What I'm saying? Because it's the best time. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it was like the best time of my life. So if you look at that time, freshman to senior year, if I'm not a first round pick, I'm not only going to stay in school, but I'm going to transfer to a school where they're going to give me a little bit more money and I have a better opportunity or a better chance to win. That's just what I believe, because I think you're going to see that more and more where if guys can't jump right now, they're going to stick in school a little bit longer, which makes college basketball a better sport.
You think it crosses over into football? I mean, because you got people now who are, like you said, going to college and being Van Wilder, staying in college like 20 years, after they should
being Drew Timmy. yeah. Timmy about 35.
But Drew Timmy's game doesn't really translate to the NBA well.
It doesn't.
You know what I'm saying? He's a big man that's not a big man. So
it won't. He'll still get drafted in the second round, though. Somebody will just take a flyer on him.
Yeah. You think somebody will take? Well, I can
in the second round they will. It might be pick 52.
Yeah.
But somebody will take a pick.
I agree. But
I can see it. But so you think that in college football we're going to see a lot of that same activity as well?
Well, like I said, the money changes it. Money makes the world go round, right? Money changes everything.
I have to say this, G. You do know that everybody's changing conferences next year, right?
Well, no, it's one more year. The Texas and Oklahoma have one more year in the Big 12. USC and UCLA have one more year in the Pac-12.
Houston's in the Big 12 now.
When I'm talking about
there's like three other schools that are in the Big 12. Gosh, I just lost it. There's like 3 to 4 other schools that are going to be in the Big 12 now. BYU's one of them.
Yeah.
Houston's one of them.
Yeah. I think it's University of Central Florida.
Central Florida's one.
And they had to do that because they losing their big dogs.
Right, correct.
They already lost Texas, a couple years ago.
Well, Texas, this is their last
Texas and Oklahoma's leaving after this year.
Yeah, after this year. And UCLA and USC is leaving the Pac-12 after this year. So I think that they're going to – I think what's going to happen is, like I said, you're going to see teams – well, The money is bigger at the big time programs. So like the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Alabamas, the Georgias, the USCs, the University of Texas, these are top-notch tier 1 programs. The money's ridiculous.
I think there should be some regulation on. We back to the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Some type of regulation, because a kid signs at a school and he goes there and things don't go his way. He's not starting right away or something like that. He wants to transfer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you should at least have to be at the school 2 years, and then you can transfer one time during your collegiate playing career. Not all this jumping around, all that stuff. Come on, Big G. You got to have some type of regulation and consistency with what's going on. What's wrong with that?
Can they do it? And the pros, can you go where you want to go, when you want to go, and how you want to go?
After a certain amount of time? After a certain amount of time.
Well, but this it's a certain.
That's why it's called free agency. After you put in your years, your 4 or 5 years, depending on where you drafted.
But it's a certain amount of money too. It's a certain amount of money.
You're right.
If you're saying, okay, if you look at rookie contracts in the NFL, rookie contracts in the NBA, those first round contracts are sometimes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times greater than the highest NIL money for the best player in the college collegiate sports. So if you're going to say, I'm going to limit a kid, because you're limiting his ability to make money. And that's what NIL is about.
But Big G, you choose to sign where you sign at.
Correct.
Come out of high school.
Correct.
You made that decision.
But what happens if you go to a school, a college, and you're there for 1 year and then the coach gets fired? Or they bring in a different position coach.
That's a different circumstance. Not position coach, head coach, different circumstance.
Well, your position coach is who recruits you. So, I know that from experience. I had hardly no dealings with my head coach. Who recruited me was my position coach. The offensive coordinator and the position coach recruited me.
I mean, that's true. Well, you don't go to your head coach much unless he come and talk to you. That's
right.
And college is different.
Right. So if your position coach bounces or something like that, you should be able to go right away. But I just don't like if we're going to make it fair and we're going to give college kids an opportunity to get money, because really what this is about is more money, and more money. We're giving them an opportunity to get bread. So the winning is one thing, but making money off their name, image, and likeness is something different.
But like I said, they choose the school they go to, and you have to be there at least 2 years. You can't just, I didn't get to start as a freshman, I'm leaving. Nah, you stay the sophomore year, see what happened. And then if you don't go that way, then you can transfer.
Would Justin Fields been at Ohio State if that was true? Would Quentin Ewers been at the University of Texas if that was true? I can run down the list of guys.
Quentin Ewers, one I'm talking about, because when Arch Manning get there, bye Ewers.
Right, but I'm saying he went to Ohio State 1 year.
He's already there and he's in spring practice. We still think he's gonna. We'll talk about that later.
Justin Fields went to Georgia 1 year outside his redshirt year and bounced. So
he had some racist things said to him from somebody or something like that.
But hold on, G. Hold on. Here's the point. Here's the point that I think Tate is making, and I can agree that you chose to be there. So I think you should choose a year to stay. You should literally have to stay a whole year. You know what I'm saying? 1 year. Yes.
I'm cool with 1 year. After 1 year,
you literally have to stay a year. Yeah. You can't. I mean, and I'm talking about a year of playing. So if you were red shirt,
what if you don't get on the field till you're a junior? No.
You that second year you can leave.
No, man.
You still got 2 more years of eligibility.
No. If you go to a team where they're stacked and you're not going to play?
Well, why would you choose that school anyway then?
Because your opportunity to go to the NFL. I'll give you a case in point, perfect example. Alabama running backs. The Henry Ruggs, the kid is playing, not Ruggs, the kid is playing running back for Alabama this year. This was his first year playing. You know why? Yeah. Because there was pros sitting in front of him every year.
He went to Georgia Tech first.
Right, correct. But if you're going to go to a school that's going to give you the best opportunity to go to the next level. So if you go to certain teams, even like I said, go back to Alabama running backs. Look at how many of them dudes they had in a row, and the guy played 1 year and went to the league. So
Najee Harris can't have it both. Najee Harris waited.
Correct. But like I said, some guys won't wait. Some guys won't. Alvin Kamara didn't wait. Alvin Kamara transferred. He was at Bama. So there's certain guys that, you know, you're going to go to a school based on their pedigree and get you an opportunity to play at the next level, be it the NBA or the NFL.
Don't go to a school you're not good enough to get in there and get ticked.
Sometimes that's hard.
And for some reason, acting like your dumb signs.
Hey,
but you might fall in, like G said, you might fall into a situation where the position coach loves somebody and they're not gonna give up. You know what I'm saying? So anything can happen. And again, we're just talking about this, but I want to say something before we actually get to another subject because I'm finna go ahead and downshift. I want to say first and foremost, big shout out to John Angel, Giannis. He won yesterday. He won his fight, unanimous W in Fury F776. He out here putting hands on folks at this point. You know what I'm saying? And that's
I was like scared of him when he was a guest on the show here.
Yeah, he was one of the guests that we've had on the show, mixed martial artists. You never know who you're gonna see here on the.
Oh man, I can't wait to the end to talk about next week's guest.
Say it again.
I can't wait to the end so I can talk about next week's guest.
We can keep that under the wraps for a second. But I'm gonna tell you, realistically, we wanted to say a shout out to him, and I didn't want to forget it while we were in the middle of the show. Man, listen. So now we're still dealing with free agency. Bobby Wagner went back home. Bobby Wagner is now
supposed to
a Seattle Seahawk. 1 year, $7 million. How you feeling about this, G?
You know what Bobby Wagner did? Bam. I'm at the crib. That's what Bobby Wagner did. Bobby Wagner went home to get that bread, buddy. He put that Seattle sign back on his thing because what they have done and what they're going to continue to do is reinvent the Legion of Boom. This Legion of Boom 2.0. I promise you. They're adding pieces and they are looking more and more like that defense that had a championship pedigree out there in Seattle. I would not be shocked if the Seattle Seahawks represent the NFC West this year coming up based on what they've done already in free agency, let alone what they're going to do with those high draft picks, man. And Wagner's the key to it because he's going to teach them or rally them behind the old pedigree of the Legion of Boom. That's what they are. That they play that lightweight Tampa 2, loving defense, doing all whatever you do, flying around all over the place. And they have interchangeable pieces, and they dogs on them corners. So heads up for if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, they're gonna be balling. They're gonna be balling this year. Legion of Boom is back.
Think about that, man?
I think I need to address B Dirt's comment, man. I'm a D1 know-it-all, man. You got Mod and Big G here to Division 2. So I just want to say that.
Never. I play D1. I know it all. Go ahead, bro.
Like I said, I'm the know-it-all that knows it all. I always say that. Timothy Lyons said that'll never happen with Pete still out there. You know, Pete.
Why won't it happen?
I think
smoke a few.
I think Big G is on something. I don't know why he wearing the Seattle Seahawks hat though, but I think he
got all kind of hats.
Okay. Well, he got hats to match with his shoes. That's why I didn't say anything. I just let it keep going because he got hats to match with his shoes. He's a shoe guy. He's a shoe guy. He loves shoes. So you got to
So you tell me right now, Big G sitting there with shoes and boxers on.
No. I got a whole outfit on that matches what I got on, and the shoes match the hat. So yeah. Matter of fact, I got some Air Max 97s on that match the hat to a
listen,
T.
Shoe guys always do that. So it's not a big thing. I won't roast you for it. I'm gonna let you have it. You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, I agree with him. I think Seattle is building another great defense out there. So now maybe they can get somebody Devin Bush. They signed Devin Bush from the Steelers.
Yes.
And they got Bobby Wagner there, and they had a great draft last year. And they got a couple of first-round picks this year. Mm-hmm. I don't see them letting Jalen Carter pass them at 5.
Nope.
Not Pete Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
And then get another piece, either a linebacker to learn under Bobby Wagner or another piece in the secondary. They are building that up.
Yeah, they are. They are. And Snoop got the gunja ready for him over there. You know, Snoop and Pete is still real tight.
Hey, whatever it takes, baby. Whatever it takes to get that dub.
That's legal in Washington State too.
That is correct.
You know, they gets it in. And there was some other moves during this week. You guys picked up some more offensive line help. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about the Steelers help take that they picked up this week.
Well, they picked up some guy, Lavanier Clark. Is that his name, Big G?
Yep, he played at the Tennessee Titans and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, another one that we brought Andy Wild in from Philly to be the assistant GM of the Omar Khan, because Omar Khan is more of a numbers guy, and this guy is a true football guy. If you've seen the Philly team for the past 5 years, his handprint is all over that thing. He builds in the trenches, defensive line, offensive line. So some of these guys we picked up, matter of fact, all three on the O-line were players that would play for his organization where he was at. So he has in-depth intel on these guys. I think they're all big maulers, man. They're all big maulers. I look forward this week. I mean, of course, we got Patrick Peterson, a couple new linebackers. I think this week is when we bring. You said nothing can always go back home. We bring a Bud back home.
Yeah.
Bud Dupree.
Oh yeah, Bud Dupree back home. That's a big one. That would be a big signing. What do you think? I mean, how do you feel about these signings with Pittsburgh?
Well, me and Tate have talked about this on our other show, the Homies Steel Curtain Network. We've talked about it in private. We talked about it in public. Pittsburgh's building a bully, and we're going back to old time smash mouth Pittsburgh Steelers football. I love Pickett. Yeah, I love the weapons. I just was looking at the depth chart, the projected depth chart today, and for the first time in probably 10 years, we have 8 legitimate players in the offensive line out of the 5 starters and 3 backup. We have 8 legitimate players, and I think we're going to add more depth in the draft. So I think that we're building a bully because they understand and know 11 personnel is good, even if you got 12 with 2 dog tight ends. But you got to be able to run the ball when it counts, and you got to be able to push people around when it counts. And I think that's what they're understanding as Pittsburgh is you got to be able to run the ball and push people around. And that bully mentality, it's for one reason and one reason only. We're targeting the Cincinnati Bengals. You can't win in football unless you win your division. So we built this bully to beat up on the Bengals. So we win our division, we can win.
Yeah, and I feel that. And just so that I could let everybody know here, I want everybody to know what teams are doing right now in free agency. You have to understand. I did a piece on the Cowboys Network that I called the missing ingredient. The reason why it's so important, what everybody is doing in free agency is building depth. You cannot win a championship, even get to a Super Bowl without depth. Football is such a grueling sport, and there's 17 games. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have depth. If you don't have depth, somebody's going to go down, and when somebody go down, it's a next man up mentality, right? And then you want to have the luxury of going into the draft where the Steelers are there at 17. So you want to have the luxury of going into the draft with BPA on your mind.
Correct.
Right? You want to have best player available on your mind. Because if you're sitting here trying to fill a hole or you're trying to find somebody to insert into a spot, that's a bad place to be in. Because now you're limited. You may miss out on a player that you really need, right?
Yep.
So this is the reason why everybody is paying attention to free agency the way that they are. Claude Bishop says signing Bud Dupree is a bad idea.
No. Get him, man. Get him.
Why, Claude? I mean, because you get Bud, who had his best years in Pittsburgh, 2 years removed. He was injured in Tennessee. You get him for say $6 million, and get him as a third edge rusher behind TJ and Highsmith.
Correct.
Ain't no bad idea about that, bro.
No, none at all. No.
Yeah,
when was the last time Watt played a full season? Did Highsmith play a full season? You got to have a guy that you put the fear in you that he's gonna bust your quarterback in his face on the edge in our defense. So Bud's been there. He knows the system. He gonna come in there and cause some punishment.
in any defense, G, you got to think about this, man.
Y'all signed somebody. What was that? Dante Fowler? Ain't that who y'all got?
Yeah, we signed Dante Fowler.
Yeah, because Micah gonna play on one side, Dante coming.
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the thing. This is what I was about to say is that playing on the edge and defensive line, it's rigorous. Yeah. I mean, that you have to have people who can come in and play and give you quality down. So having a Bud Dupree as your third person is not a bad option because you don't have a drop off from 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, right?
That is correct.
You gotta have that. You gotta keep the pressure on people because if your 2s and 3s are weak, that's the strongest part of your team. You're thinking, okay, the 1s are the big. No, your 2s and 3s are what makes a Super Bowl caliber team.
Correct. I agree. I
totally agree. At Afton, he's too injury prone, had one good year with the Steelers. Well, if you're only playing 60% of the snaps, you don't have to worry, or even 40% of the snaps, you don't have to worry about getting injured.
I need Bud Dupree when Watt is hurt to come in and make a big time play. I need Bud Dupree to one time make a sack that puts us in position to win the division. If he can do that within a 17-game schedule, I'm with it.
Plus TJ always go all out, 110% every play. He gets himself out the game.
Yeah.
And to have him be able to go 110%, tap himself out, and bring somebody like Bud in, that's nothing but a win-win.
Win.
I think it's a win. I like I said, I mean, you know, when you think of the Cowboys, you got Micah Parsons, Tank Lawrence, then you have Dorrance Armstrong, then you have you just said his name.
Dante Fowler Jr.
Dante Fowler, and then you got my guy, Sam Williams. You know, so you're 4 deep on your defensive line, and you need it. Yeah. You absolutely to be honest, you need to be 5 to 6 deep, so that way you can kind of fuel your special teams. Because that's the other thing on a 53-man roster, those 2s and 3s, that's your special teams, right?
So let me ask you this question, or just let me say this. I have saw, and I think you guys will agree, professional football has emulated college football. When we were younger, college football emulated professional football. Now, professional football emulates college football. The most successful teams in college football, where do they have depth and they bring monsters at you? And the offensive and defensive line. Yeah. Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, they have maulers in the trenches.
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan took Ohio State's blueprint. They got killer first-round draft depth in the offensive and defensive line. You got to have that for the NFL. And so that's why I like what Maude is saying about the Cowboys, what we're saying about the Steelers. Any team, the Philadelphia Eagles, Tate pointed that out prior to. The Eagles, they built you in the trenches. Guess who else is doing it? The Chicago Bears are starting to do it right now.
The 49ers do it.
That's what I'm saying.
The Eagles did it last year.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got to have the trenches. That's how you win. Because
you're either gonna have a high-powered offense that can put up 35 to 38 a game, or you're gonna have one of them bullies that's built in the trenches off pass rush, off run blocking, and like that in defense.
That's
you
right.
got your Eagles run game, Jalen Hurts, defense, 49ers run game, McCaffrey, whoever playing quarterback, got some playmakers with Debo, George Kittle, nice inline and receiving tight end.
Yep.
I mean, you got those teams. And that's what Dallas has to be to win too, Ma, with Dak being quarterback.
Yes, correct. That's
exactly.
Correct.
But that we've been saying this. That's one of the things when I said, and if you want to see the full one, you could go over to Cowboys Global on YouTube and you can find it. We are DC4L. You can find it there. But I was saying, you know, the recipe for us at this point is to through free agency, fill it up, make sure that Dak has at least 3 to 4 more weapons, and then BPA in the draft. Literally, BPA in the draft, best player available. Then that way we could just start shoring it up, making it happen. One thing before we actually downshift into basketball, I want to ask you guys, because we ought to know it all. Will there ever be another Dan Marino ever? Will there ever be another Dan? Do you realize
what do you mean by
Dan
Marino? What do you mean by Marino?
5,000 with no running game.
No.
That's not Patrick Mahomes.
Patty, they got a running game. They got
1,000-yard rusher.
No. I think combined, though, they do.
But it's a running game.
Yeah,
it's a running game, none the least.
Yeah, but not. You'll never see. So that's a loaded question, sorta, because he had Duper and Clayton, which I don't know about you guys, but Duper, Clayton, and Danny Marino, have we seen anything like it? I mean, like Jerry Rice, Jonathan Taylor, Joe Montana. I mean, that was the formula for a minute.
Dan Fouts, don't you forget.
But Dan Fouts was before Danny Marino, or right around the same time. But I'm saying like that ideology in the NFL has changed. You can't win necessarily with two. You got to have three, or you got to have two dog tight ends. So I don't know if you can win with two and a quarterback. That's why I say no. 11 personnel. I've been on that for 2 years.
Man, Dan Marino was. Him and Super Duper were tough, man. They were tough.
You've been on 11 personnel, Big G, but the Steelers grade run more 12 personnel this year, I bet, than 11 personnel.
If we get who I want at 17.
They have to get
they ain't Washington 17, man.
Man, we 32.
Get another tight end to stay in 12 like
maybe Mayer is 17 if they go tight end. But
Mayer.
Hey man, you drooling, Big G. Wipe it off.
Yeah, Mayer, oh my God.
Mayer for a while.
Oh my God. Mayer is 17. Oh my God. It's over. It's over.
So
I'm
you
ready
guys,
to go now.
This is what we got. This is what we're looking like right now. 74 games played, right? In the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks 53-21. The Celtics are 51-23. The 76ers are 49-25. Cavs 47-28. The Knicks
48-28. They just beat Houston.
Yes, sir.
48-28. The Knicks are 42-33. The Nets are 40-34. I'm gonna tell you something. The surprise team to me this year is the Knicks. They getting it in. I didn't know that they were gonna be the way that they are when they got Jalen Brunson from Dallas. Hey,
Josh Hart made all the difference in the world.
Josh Hart is one that can make the difference. He is.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. And then the Miami Heat, which I'm surprised they're so far down. They're number 7 at 40-35, and the Hawks at 37-37. Raptors at 36-38. Everybody else don't need to be talked about.
The Bulls, they in the playing spot.
Yeah. So let me ask y'all this: at this point, what are y'all expecting out of the Eastern Conference in basketball?
Well, I think, man, that the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference are better than the 2, 3, 4 in the Western Conference by a substantial amount. I think the Eastern Conference is gonna play itself out just like we expect. It's gonna come down to Milwaukee and Boston. Philly could get in there maybe, because right now the matchups would be in the second round, the Bucks and the Cavs and Philly and the Celtics. So Philly could pop the Celtics and get there, but I would have to go with Boston being the favorite. And Milwaukee, they lost last night to Denver, but Milwaukee is just going to be the team to beat when it's playoff time.
Yeah, G.
Tate, I agree a little bit, but I listen. The hottest team in basketball right now is the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are the hottest team in basketball right now. If you go look at last 10 playing best ball, Cleveland got it going on, and Cleveland can catch Philadelphia at that 3 spot, and that makes all the difference in the world for the Eastern Conference standings, because if Philly walks to 4, that means they get 1 home series. Philly's a different team in Philadelphia than they are on the road, even though they might have the MVP on their team. So I think Cleveland's going to have something to say about that Eastern Conference.
It's something, and you know that's our team, Big G, the Cavs. Matter of fact, check it out to that's rather Cavalier podcast coming before playoffs. We're gonna try and get something on Cleveland Cavaliers podcast on the Fan First Sports Network. Me and Big G do the Cavs, do some stuff with the Steelers. Mod has his Cowboys Global podcast, has a team over there doing Cowboy stuff. So y'all be sure just to check out, subscribe, and like all those different podcasts on the FFSN network. But Big G, it's something to be said for experience. With playoffs, the young Cavs have none. I mean, Donovan Mitchell has been there before.
Yes.
I mean, they got old guys like Robin Lopez. He ain't gonna play.
Yeah.
They traded Kevin Love away.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think, it's something that I'm giving them the first round, but that second round when you're going against the big dogs, whoever it is, I'm not putting them past there. They can win 2 games, maybe push it to 7. I just don't have them coming out of the Eastern Conference semifinals, though.
I don't know.
So
I don't know.
My thought process on this, Tate, is I agree with you for the most part, but there's some about experience. But young legs and youngsters who can get out and run like stallions and horses, it's something to be said about that too. And you got to get experience sometime. And anything can happen. I just think that if you mix it up and they mess around and get to past the semis and get to the finals, anything's possible, bruh. I think anything's possible. I wouldn't put it past the Cavs. I just don't see it though, because I really believe it's coming down to the Bucks and the Celtics.
The team. You know the team that nobody in the East wants to play. The Brooklyn Nets. Nobody wants to play Brooklyn. Nobody.
I don't know why they done lost 5 in a row now.
Brooklyn got a bunch of 3-and-Ders, dog.
They do. I agree with you, but they done lost 5 in a row.
I feel you, but them 3-and-Ders
at the wrong time
cause problems.
They going down to the play-in right now. They would have to play Toronto on the play-in.
Yeah.
So in the Western Conference, we've got the Nuggets number 1 at 50-24. The Grizzlies 46 and 27. The Kings have held on and they're 45-29 at number 3. The Suns 39-35. The Clippers are 39-36. The Warriors are 39-36. The Pelicans are 37-37. Timberwolves 37-37. Lakers 37-38. Thunder 36-38. Mavericks 36-39. And nobody else cares after that. I'm saying at this point, the Western Conference is still wide open. With I think what is it? They have 74 games. I have to say something, and it's rare. This KnoItAllz listeners, if you're here and you're listening, it's very rare that this happens. When you give up all your defensive all of your defensive talents.
Just get to the point and say Dallas Mavericks trash, like Big G been saying for the past 2 months.
If you give up all your defensive talent, and I don't care how much offense you got to be able to stop somebody. And Dallas did that. They gave up all their defensive talent to get Kyrie. And at this point, I just have to say it, looks like they're going to miss the playoffs. And G said it. Hey, man, it just happened to work that way. I feel bad for them, but they're going to have to find something else to do. The Lakers, meanwhile,
they lost today. Lakers lost today.
We thought that with LeBron out, they were just going to go a quiet bye, but always down is actually playing. You know what I'm saying?
LeBron killed the chemistry of them. When LeBron came back today, they wasn't out there playing hot potato. The ball stopped with Bron. But he's got to figure out that chemistry because them youngsters, by him trading that team away and putting it together, oh, yeah. LA, I wouldn't want to play the Lakers. I wouldn't want to play them. Not early.
Headband AD. Maybe with the headband on, he doesn't get hurt. Maybe that's what that is. He need to keep that headband on.
Look, the issue is he wants to be in LA. They Payday, and I got to give Pay credit for this. Me and Pay talked about this on another thing, and Pay said, gee, what they're going to do is they're trying to figure out if Anthony Davis is worth keeping or trading. So if he wasn't going to ball with Bron out, as soon as the season was over with, he was on the market. So, but AD, I think, wants to be in LA. He might not like LeBron issue and him not being the guy, But I think without a shadow of a doubt, AD wants to be in LA.
So let me ask y'all this question before we get ready to go to our parting shots. How scared are you of the Kings?
Not really. Tay, you got him. What you say?
Kings don't scare me, man. I mean, any Mike Brown coach team can do good in the regular season and not going to do too much better in the playoffs. We dealt with Mike Brown for a lot of years in LeBron's early years, which is pretty much the time LeBron took his talents to South Beach. I mean, he didn't have a lot of players, but Mike Brown was a good regular season coach. You coaching the best player in the game. Yeah, you win 58, 60, 61 games, but you never got to that. Well, they did one time, got to the championship against the Spurs, but he didn't do enough. And he's a good coach. Sat under Steve Kerr for a lot of years. Got some good young talent in Sacramento. I'm not worried about him this year.
Yeah. If they catch Golden State or LA in the first round, it's adios muchachos. because they got something for them, bro. They got something for them. They're a good team. They got a great point guard. Fox is great. But they can't win a series. Not to me.
So now we get to a place where we got our parting shots. Talk to me, man. Parting shot.
Hey, man, y'all see my new pictures back there, man? Me and my boy Roger.
Roger.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and my boy Fresh Prince over there too.
Yeah, Mr. Goodell.
Oh, Roger, you got Slap Prince and Rod.
Slap Prince. We'll know better than try that stuff with me, man. Will would have caught these hands, boy.
A left and a right. He'd have come left and a right.
Hey, I understand what Chris Rock was doing, man. He was being a bigger person, but hey, old Fresh Prince would have caught these hands messing with me. But hey, man.
Do you really think you'd have had the stamina to get up there and toss it around for 5 minutes?
Hey, it wouldn't have been 5 minutes, man. I'm a knockout artist, bro.
1-2 to the ground.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a knockout artist. Well, back in the day, not now. I only got 50 years old. I only got it in me now.
Got a little tank in you, huh?
But when me and Will took that picture, I was like 39. He'd have got it. But hey, my parting shot, man. I wanted to again tell everybody thanks for joining us on the KnoItAllz podcast. Be sure to like this video. Like this video. We want to get our likes up. Like this video and subscribe. We appreciate everybody in the live chat, everybody that comes over from the SCN network and our homies podcast that follows us here. We appreciate each and every one of you. And then, like I said, be on the lookout. Mod already got the Cowboys Global going. If you don't like the Cowboys going and just like and subscribe, you don't gotta watch the video. We just want your subscription and your downloads. More importantly on the audio. And then be sure to be ready to check out me and Big G on the That's Rather Cavalier podcast, talking about our Cleveland Cavaliers and stuff like that. We got a secret weapon coming too. The little homie Che Diggs. Y'all get to see him on the Cleveland Cavalier podcast. But in closing, baseball season starts this week coming. I think Thursday or Friday is opening day. So next week I'm gonna ask Mod and Big G, wear your baseball gear. I mean, I got my Cincinnati Reds jersey. I know I'm wearing that. Big G can wear that big dumb Phillies hat. But
he hates on winners, man. Keep going, man.
Hey, next week we got a special guest coming on. A friend of mine through difficult circumstances, but together during this time we've become good friends. He's an old man, like 83 years old. Luther Atkinson, known as Luke Atkinson. Mr. Luke is what I call him. But he played baseball in the Negro League, played for the Satchel Paige All-Stars, played with Satchel Paige and a lot of those great Negro League baseball players that we know in the history books. I always heard my grandfather talk about Satchel Paige. I never knew him, never saw him play, but I always heard him talk about him and Josh Gibson. And we have Mr. Luke coming on next week as a guest to talk some baseball, talk some Negro League history, talk about the direction of the game now, where it's at now, who he likes, and just baseball talk. So we're looking forward to have him on here next week. And I just wanted to go ahead and plug that as my parting shot.
Yes, yeah, definitely. We had a chance to talk to him, and I told you I'm the know-it-all that knows it all. So I had to tell Tate and inform Tate that in the Negro Baseball League, there were girl pitchers who were really, really good. Mamie Johnson being the first one, and she could hurl it. She could hurl that thing. 33-8 was her record. 33-8, and she played on the Satchel Paige All-Stars. I like to thank my grandmother for that. Cool Papa Bell and Josh Gibson. She made sure that I knew about the Negro League, because I was a baseball player. I mean, the times were different, right? Times were very different when we were growing up, and we all played baseball. I played baseball all the way up into high school, and then it started.
I played all the way up till 7th grade.
Yeah, I played to my freshman year at Abilene High, and then it started, football, track and football and everything, and summer basketball became more important than baseball. I really wish I'd have kept it up because you can get a check quicker in baseball, definitely.
You can. Hey, Ma, and I've heard all the stories, man, all the accolades, and I believe them. But you don't like you had nothing to do with track right now.
Hey, listen, I didn't want any piece of the track. Even back then, like for real. Here's the thing, I ran a 4.40, but it was like, I didn't want to get out there and do 100. I didn't forget that. That's too far. Let's stick to this 40 stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. But I think I'm excited about baseball and the Negro League and talking to him about that because it was a different time. And I mean, we get an opportunity to see like movies like 42 and, League of Their Own and really talk about some of these things.
He even told us on the call we had with him last night, me and you, that Jackie Robinson came and changed the game.
Right. Yeah.
So, he knows all that history.
Yeah, definitely excited. But I was telling there's another female pitcher. The reason why that's, really good. There's another female pitcher right now who's looking to be in the major leagues, and she's throwing close to 90 now. She's going viral. You can check out on the league. She's throwing close to 90. It's wild. But yeah, so G, give me your parting shot.
Well, my first parting shot, man, goes out to Coach McGuff and the Ohio State women's Buckeyes. Go Buckeyes for your upset, an outstanding win against the UConn girls basketball team to advance in the NCAA women's tournament. You guys are playing basketball that we've never seen down there in Columbus, Ohio. So to have an opportunity to have those girls possibly represent us in the Final Four is something that's just unbelievable. I'm a big follower of girls basketball. My daughter played for 4 years. She started from a freshman to a senior. She would have had an opportunity to play at the collegiate level, but she tore her Achilles right at the beginning of her senior season and couldn't go to the next level. So one of my first loves or first passions concerning my children is women's basketball. So I follow it all the time. So the Lady Buckeyes have not been this good in a long time. And to upset UConn, who's a predominant program, man, shout out to you guys, man. Coach, you're doing an outstanding job. And thank you for some of the stuff you did in the local area to recruit some kids to possibly go down there and play at Ohio State. My second parting shot is this. Luka, you tire fire, dog. I've been saying all along, you trash. Man. You're not a leader of men. You're not a leader of men. You can play, you can score. You can play in modern NBA. But if you want to be counted as great, you're not first team All-NBA this year. And if you want to be counted as great, you got to change. If you don't change, you're going to be one of those guys that we talk about on the side, an Alex English, a Joe Dumars. You're not considered one of the greatest players. Does he have time to change? He can change. But as of right now, you're tire fire. Leaders don't make excuses. If you lose, it's your fault, even if it's not your fault. Look at Luka's quotes and put his quotes up against what? Magic, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Dr. J, Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, LeBron James. It's their fault. So, Luka, I challenge you to change and get your act together and become a leader of men. Until then, tire fire. You don't deserve the accolades that they're giving you.
Hey, Big G, I got nothing against your Luka take, man. But cut it out with them dumb Crayola signs, man.
No, the signs is boss, bro. That's part of who we do, man. This is the KnoItAllz podcast, man.
Hey, listen,
we gets it in.
All I will say is this on Luka Doncic. I'll say this: Luka has the opportunity to learn from his choices and decisions because maybe he said the wrong thing. He's far from trash. Again, the problem with the Dallas Mavericks, this is a team, and as a team, they can't play defense.
Wrong.
As a team, they can't play defense. But I understand your objections and your opinions, and I'm definitely.
I don't disagree. Luka has a bad attitude.
Yeah,
he complains and cries to the refs all the time, and he seems like he blames others.
He just got a 16th technical, and he's suspended for the next game where they need to win to get into the playoffs. They're a game and a half out right now. They got to win, and he just got suspended.
All that being said, Claude is probably right in his comment right there.
No.
Big G hates everything to do with Texas. Listen, my parting shot this week is, as we wind down from the NCAA tournament, we're getting ready to go into the off season for real, and we're getting closer and closer to the draft. My thing is that, man, football, while you got the XFL going and you see Josh Gordon scoring out here, scoring touchdowns, you see the Cowboys X out there throwing them to him.
Martavius Bryant is out there, bro. He balling.
Here's the thing. I want to see players get second chances like that. It warms my heart to see, people who may have stood in their own way for a season get a second chance because everybody deserves one. Some people are young when they make big time mistakes, and the higher you are and the higher you fall from, the more it's going to take time for you to get back up, and you hope that people do. It's never a loss if you learn from it. And you have to understand you're going to take losses. Losing and having failures is a part of success. It really is. It's built into it. Correct. If you don't fail, you're never going to achieve anything. Alexander Graham Bell must have failed 1,000,000 times, but he made the phone, right? The Wright brothers must have failed 1,000,000 times, but they were able in Kitty Hawk to fly. You know what I'm saying? So
where the Wright brothers from?
Those things where you have to continue, but if you lose, you learn. You got to learn from it. It's not a loss if you learn from it. That's one thing I have to say. Go ahead, Tate.
No, I said, where the Wright brothers from?
OH.
That's North Carolina, man.
Never. OH.
No, that's Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio.
But it was in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, that it happened.
Again, that it happened.
Right. So again, I know it was in Kitty Hawk.
They from Ohio. The first man on the moon from Ohio. The man that broke the speed barrier from Ohio. The most presidents from Ohio. LeBron James from Ohio. I'm going to just stop right there. Look from Ohio.
And y'all call me biased. You know what I'm saying?
Them is facts, bro. Them is facts.
I love y'all call me biased. You're right. After that's what I'm saying. Winners win and they learn. They lose and they learn.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying? So it's if you learn, it's not a loss. If you learn a disappointment, it's not a loss.
I love Athens' input. She always comes with great live chat comments and stuff, like real stuff, except for liking Big G's signs.
She said Fiona Hippo is from Ohio. Josh Gordon and M. Bryant have had multiple chances, but I agree with Mark. Yeah, man. The gist of the matter is I love seeing people get second chances. Other thing is what G said. It's very important. I need you guys to listen under the sound of my voice. Make sure that when you come on to watch the podcast, when you hit the like button, it beats the algorithm. It tells YouTube that we're here. It makes people want to come watch. And we definitely want to do this for you and yours. And we want to continue to push out great content so that you guys will have something to do and definitely listen to us sit here and rattle on about sports. Because again, G and Tate, they know a lot, but I'm the know-it-all that knows it all. Definitely, I will appreciate that. Everyone
we should create a poll, Mom. We should create a poll.
And the other shows that we have, the homies, we are DC4L. Definitely the Cavalier podcast is about to start. Make sure you check these out, man. The ones that love these teams and that love hearing about those teams and hearing about those squads. Even if you have somebody who's a friend who loves those squads, recommend it, put it out there. We would love to just continue to keep doing what we do, and your support, your likes, and your sharing helps us to do that. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys who are always in the live chat, keeping it lively with us, especially B-Dirt. You know, B-Dirt likes to catch a whole bunch and say a whole lot. He said only lake to catch on fire is from Ohio. Claude, you know, Claude has to say something, but Claude's one of those people. Claude Afton, you know, Timothy, I love it. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate you guys for being here.
Hey, Mod.
Yes.
I think we should run a poll. That's my Aunt Lorraine. Thanks, Aunt Lorraine. But I think we should have a poll to ask the listeners and the subscribers who's the know-it-all that knows the most. See what they really think out there, man. You self-proclaimed all the time, bruh.
Hey, well, you know what I like to do? I like to keep the unity. So therefore I won't ask the people to say that. You know what I'm saying? I love unity. I don't want them to break us up. After we will come back to the comments of this show, and I will definitely link the other shows here. I'll definitely link the other shows here so that you'll be able to know what those shows are. Timothy, thank you, sir. I think you were just saying Mod. I'm just gonna say high five to you and give you a wink. You know, definitely, definitely, you guys. I love
bias, Timothy. Bias, Timothy.
I want you guys to make sure that you like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch, so that when we go live, you'll definitely get those notifications. Also, we are live on Twitter, so make sure you catch that too. As for Tate, as for Big G, we will catch you guys next week. Peace.